We've got some pretty big things going on in Bitcoin. Obviously, the bull market seems to be back on almost, with Bitcoin rallying over 150% this year, over $40,000 today, over like 41,000 right now. And it has just been going crazy and putting everyone in disbelief, really. If you look back to the beginning of the year when Bitcoin was around 16K or went down to that low of 16K, everyone was screaming, the bears were screaming that, oh, it's going lower, 10K's coming, that's when I'll buy in. And this is how perma bears are created, because all those people still today at $41,000 are waiting for $10,000, and they will be waiting probably for the rest of their lives. They'll never see it, and this is why people like Peter Schiff come out and are perma bears, because they just don't get to get the price that they wish they could. But there's a Bitcoin commercial or ad going on that is actually pretty interesting, and I think tells a better story, a good story of what Bitcoin really is, or what it stands for, how the system is all just kind of messed up. And this is that commercial. It looks really good. It's a very good commercial put together.
There's a system, Emma.
We're born into it. A system with numbers and papers.
And lines. And waiting.
You work hard, get good grades, go to college.
I want to go to college.
I got good grades. I overachieved.
That's right, she did.
Debt is good?
Debt is so good.
So much debt.
I can totally save up and buy a house and start a family.
I want a family.
Oh.
Starting a family means you need 2 or 3 jobs.
You can't afford to buy.
Oh.
You can't afford to rent. Used cars cost as much as the new ones.
Oh.
It's weird.
Good debt is good.
I was head of my class.
Houses are too expensive.
You work hard, get good.
The system, the numbers.
Rent is freaking insane.
Breaking news. Everything is terrible.
Does it have to be this way?
What if it was different?
It's always been that way.
We've got to build our way out of it. Yeah.
Put control back to the hands of the people. Not the bureaucracy.
A system with less paperwork.
No waiting. No lines.
Permissionless.
Just because you're born into a system
Doesn't mean you have to live with it.
So I would say it's a pretty good ad. I think it gets the point across pretty well. We seem to be, fighting this fiat Ponzi scheme, and the solution to everything is always print more money. Just print more money. That'll fix everything. And we get to deal with the problems of that. And then you get the quintillionaire effect, I think it's called. The people who are closest to the money printer love it because they get richer and everyone else gets poorer. And it is really just very dumb. And the way that everything's set up is insane. The fiat Ponzi scheme, fiat system, whatever you want to call it, is not designed to actually make things better over a long period of time. And it's not even been that long that's been a thing, right? People think, oh, the money, the dollar, all this stuff's been around for so long. Not the fiat system. It's only been around for a few decades. It's not that old. It's coming into when it was first introduced, everyone got rich. The boomers got rich. Everyone else got poor. That's how the entire system worked. And Bitcoin obviously can fix that. They're going to take a long time, right? Bitcoin is not going to come in, swoop in today and just fix everything and fix the entire world and money system. It's going to take more time for that to play out, but that's the end goal, right? The end goal is just to make things better. People look at Bitcoin and say, I want to get rich. I'm buying Bitcoin to get rich. And those are typically the people who don't hold on to their Bitcoin, right? When Bitcoin goes from 69 to 16, they sell out and say, what a scam. I was in here to get rich. I wanted to make millions of dollars. I didn't want to lose money. And then they abandon it and leave. And then it rallies. And now when Bitcoin's 41,000, they're still not even interested. Once it breaks previous all-time highs, then they'll be interested. And by then, they'll have missed out on a ton of the gains because they're only in it for gains. They're not in it for Bitcoin to actually do what it can do. And we're seeing this live right now, right? With a country, El Salvador. They adopted a Bitcoin, not really a Bitcoin standard, but they made Bitcoin legal tender. They've started backing their country. They've started buying it and putting it on their country's balance sheet, which is like the beginning of the game theory, right? Nobody wants to be first, but once somebody is first, you can't afford to be last. And I think we're going to watch this play out. This is them right here. This is Bukele, the president of El Salvador. I don't know what the title is. I'm going to say president. but they have their investments are in the black. They're making money on their Bitcoin investments. He said, with the current Bitcoin market price, if we were to sell our Bitcoin, we would not only recover 100% of our investment, but also make a profit of $3.6 million as of this moment. Of course, we have no intention of selling. That has never been our objective. We are fully aware that the price will continue to fluctuate in the future, does not affect our long-term strategy. And goes on here to just kind of talk about the people who went after El Salvador, right? Because this is their chart here, their buys. The green circles are their buys. And then this line was when they were buying 1 Bitcoin every day. That's when he announced that. So from around here, they were buying a Bitcoin a day. They brought their DCA to $40,000, and the price now means they're in the money. And these guys, during this time when they were buying around here, it was big stories, they're making tons of money. When they were buying down here, the big stories that were making all of the noise was, oh my God, El Salvador just bankrupted their country. The Bitcoin bet was wrong. They just made the biggest mistake of their life. They're gonna need a bailout, and then continuing to do that. And now that the strategy is in the green, it's paying off, it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's not a short-term thing, right? And even this is still too short-term or short-sighted, which he says, you know, we're not planning on selling because our objective is not a few years. It's a few decades, hundreds of years. It's something to not, you know, trade with. It's holding it and making the country better for the future. And nobody's talking about that. Right? This is typical in media. Everyone loves to report on the negative. That's what gets the clicks and sells those advertiser dollars. But when it flips around, nobody wants to talk about it. No one wants to say, oh, we were wrong. You know, we said El Salvador was dead. Now it's doing great. And their treasury strategy is paying off. And this is the game theory in process here. Because, like I said, game theory, it's just nobody wants to be first, but once somebody is first, you cannot afford to be last. El Salvador opened Pandora's box. You see other countries like Argentina just got their president, their Bitcoin president. He likes Bitcoin or something. All these other countries, usually South America is where it's really starting. And those countries getting into Bitcoin, they've already opened Pandora's box. It's done. And now the other superpower countries that are in the old world, the US, Europe, China, all these countries that have these giant currencies have to start thinking, you know, what do we do? Do we get involved in this Bitcoin thing? Can't ban it. That's going to be a flight risk, like, you know, for money, investment is going to leave the country. So what are we going to do? And they don't really have any other choice than to buy in and get into Bitcoin and use this strategy that other countries are doing. Because at the end of the day, nobody controls Bitcoin. That's the problem for them. Like, the dollar's the reserve currency right now. The US controls it. The US benefits so heavily from that because we can export inflation, print money to, you know, insane degrees, and not really have to deal with what other countries would deal with hyperinflation because we can export the inflation across the world. And if Bitcoin comes in, then you lose that power. That's a lot of power to lose, and they don't want to do that, but probably not going to have a choice. But overall, that Bitcoin commercial, I really liked it. I thought it was a good thing. I thought it had a good message. Now, the problem is that it's from Coinbase, so, you know, people look at that and say, oh, Coinbase, the crypto casino, you know, they're not really, they don't care about Bitcoin. They want to get more people on their platform to gamble, and that could absolutely be true, right? Coinbase is this business. They run all these altcoins, run all the Ponzi's. They let you trade everything because they want to make money that way. So do they really care about Bitcoin? Maybe not. Probably not, right? They care about making money. Brian Armstrong has said some ridiculous things. Coinbase engineers have been completely wrong on Bitcoin subjects. It's actually impressive that they're engineers. And, you know, we'll see what happens. But the commercial by itself, I think it's pretty good. So I don't really care who made it. I just think it's a good commercial, a good ad. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, do smash the like button and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next video.